We finish up Daniel today. Continuing on in John 6, and John 6 really begins the election predestination parts of the Gospel of John, which the Gospel of John is the biggest on election predestination of all four Gospels, probably combined. And Jesus went up to the mountain, and there he sat with the disciples. And the Passover, a feast of the Jews, was nigh. When Jesus lifted up his eyes and saw great company come unto him, he saw Philip. Whence shall we buy bread that these may eat? And this he said to prove him, for he himself knew what he would do. Philip answered him, 200 pennyworth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may take a little. One of the disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, sat unto him. There is a lad here which have 5 barley loaves and 2 small fishes. But what are they among so many? And Jesus said, make the men sit down. Now there was much grass in the place. So men sat down, in the number about 5,000. And Jesus took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed disciples, and disciples set it down to them, and likewise the fishes as much as they would. When they were filled, he said unto the disciples, gather up the fragments that remain, that nothing be lost. Therefore they gathered them together, and filled the 12 baskets with the fragments of the 5 barley loaves which remained over and above unto them that had eaten. And as we get further into this chapter, we start to see Jesus explain the truth about the sovereignty of God, how election and predestination work, how there can absolutely be no man's free will, with what Jesus is going to say later on here in chapter 6, which we'll get to. It begins around verse 36, so maybe Monday study. And we finished Daniel. And I heard a man clothed in linen, which sat upon the waters of the river. When he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and he sware by him that liveth forever and ever, it shall be for a time, times and a half. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. We look at that time times, they are the same word, H4150. And the way it's used in the tabernacle of the congregation, without the veil, which is before the testimony, at the time of the congregation, let's just move over this, for instance. Of the congregation. It's the exact same: appointed place, appointed time, meeting, appointed time, scattered season or sacred season, appointed meeting, appointed place, appointed sign or signal, tent or meeting. So it could be days, weeks, or years, any of that. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. Again, it could be 3.5 days. And I heard, but understood not. Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? He said, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. That's a different time. That's at time. Time of an event, experiences, fortunes, occurrences, occasion. Time especially adverb with preposition. When you come down here, the definition, properly an appointment, fixed time, a fixed time, which is an exact day, or a season, which is not even a year, specifically a festival, conventionally a year, by implication, an assembly, technically the congregation by extension. So it can be a day, a season, a year, a very set time, which is different from this time, especially now when always, certain, continually, even, long, due, season, so, as, evening, noon, tide, what time, when. Many shall be purified and made white. It's the great tribulation, and tried. But the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. It's just for sheep. It's not like goats have a free will decision. The wicked will do wicked. They won't be making up their minds. And for the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days. So from that time, I believe, through God's wrath, oh, this could include the 1,000-year millennial kingdom. No, that's 1,000 days. This should all be the length of God's wrath to cleanse the earth with all his trumpets, bowls, and plagues, and so forth. Blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1,305 days. But go thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of these days. At the end of the days. So 1,300. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, it's because when you go through Revelation, there's the church that's sealed, and they're set apart from God's wrath. I think all of that fits into going through the cleansing of the earth, because there is a lot of damage that God brings forth upon the earth to cleanse the earth. And at the time of that end, I think God always has sheep on the earth. I don't think sheep ever leave the earth completely. As long as the earth is here, they never leave. There is always some that have their feet on the ground. And they're here even through God's wrath. In my opinion, I'm not dogmatic about any of this, just thinking out loud. Love you very much. Ask questions anytime. That's what I'm here for.